Now for a discovery which may surprise you. Scientists have found that most of us still have a little bit of a Neanderthal inside us. A study into the DNA of the human subspecies found that they interbred with modern humans.
The study in the journal Science is based on painstaking research into 3 Neanderthal bone fragments. Scientists reconstructed the Neanderthal genetic code and compared it to modern humans from across the globe, and found there was up to a 4% match with humans everywhere but from Africa. The theory is that our human ancestors migrating out of Africa some 70,000 years ago had some amorous encounters with Neanderthals somewhere in the Middle East.
We mean that they interbred or they had sex.
This is the first real evidence Neanderthals and humans had kids.
It's a very exciting discovery because it gives us really the first strong evidence that there was interbreeding with people like the Neanderthals. And it means that modern humans in different parts of the world may have slightly different mixes.
It is your nature to fear what you do not understand. You lock it away in cages to keep yourself safe. This way you don't have to learn its true nature, but not everything can be caged. Since the first of our people walked this land, we have always understood the great spirit of the forest and how to live with it. I've always understood the forest better than the civilization your people imposed on the land. In the forest, my people knew we had a future, the way things had always been. Our lands had always provided for us. Those days are long gone. The buffalo, once spread wild across the land, are gone. The mighty wolves now live in cages. Like my people, are only a shadow of what we once were. Slowly this land has been consumed by your cities of steel and cement, but there is still one that'll never be caged, a secret the mountains and the forests still keep. They are the master of the woods, the shadow guardians, the boss of the mountains. They are called by many names, by many tribes. The elders speak of them with respect, for they are the ultimate strength of the forest. These stories have been passed down from our ancestors for generations, to have the wisdom to understand the forest like no civilized man could. My grandfather would speak of them as shadows. No one can catch a shadow or lock a shadow away. He would say it is the wise man that knows they must be left alone. This is simple knowledge that your people never learned. You cut down the forest, dam the rivers, and fence the plains like prisons. Sasquatch watches you as you cut down his home and wound the great spirit of this land. There is no room in your cities of glass and steel for them. It is easier to dismiss them only as stories, but they are real. Real as your shadows, and always watching.
Osman, in 1924, was camped near Toba Inlet in British Columbia. While asleep in a sleeping bag, he was picked up and packed several miles. Daylight found him in a small valley encircled by cliffs. This was home for a family of these creatures. He was able to escape after 6 days by getting them sick on a box of snuff. Now let's listen to Mr. Osman's experience.
Well, there was 4 of them, and none of them look alike. There was what I call the old man, because I had no scale or any rules for measurement, but he was at least 8 feet tall, and must have at least 800 pounds. But what I call the old lady, she couldn't have been over about 600-700 pounds. She was probably 7 feet tall, and they were all covered with hair.
Among the Wenatchee tribe, Sasquatch was known as Coanito, which in their language means night people. A group of male members of the Wenatchee tribe were on a hunting trip near Wenatchee Lake. One of the men became separated from the rest of the party and was captured by Coanito. He was taken to a cave far up in the Rocky Mountains and held captive by a family of Coanitos. Aboriginal people from throughout North America have stories about Sasquatch. Pictured above is an image of a Quaqueoltbuquis. The Tsimshian called them boas. Though some anthropologists assert the stories about Sasquatch are legends, many Aboriginal groups feel the creatures are living, breathing beings. One of the most noted Sasquatch-related artifacts is this Sasquatch mask created by Ambrose Point, a Cherilus native, in 1938. An artistic rendering of Sarah Finn Long being carried away by a Sasquatch. She was held captive for almost a year by a young Sasquatch and his elderly parents. She constantly pleaded to be returned to her people and was eventually taken back. The Quaquorkawak believed Sonequa the Wild Woman was a cannibal who stole children. Bukwaf the Wildman is known as an evil spirit who lurks on the edge of the forest. He is known for leaving out his favorite food cockles to lure any wandering natives and snatch them and bring them to his underground lair. In Quaquorkawak mythology, the Wildman and Wild Woman are ancestor to the Namgis tribe through their son. Many other Native Americans have stories of wild men stealing Native women. The Quaquorkawak appear to be Asian in origin. However, some Quaquorkawak could have very unusual features. Look at the way the forehead slopes back from their brow. They also have flat faces and heavy cheekbones.
It's a debate that's engaged scientists for 100 years or more. What's our link with Neanderthal man and woman, and moreover, did we ever mate?
It's a very exciting discovery because it gives us really the first strong evidence that there was interbreeding with people like the Neanderthals. And it means that modern humans in different parts of the world may have slightly different mixes. And it means that modern humans in different parts of the world may have slightly different mixes.
I know that Indian people believe that he's a brother, and that's how they view him. And as an anthropologist, what I study is the culture that holds this animal in high regard in many different forms. And so seeing Bigfoot through their eyes is where the anthropology comes from, where you're not judgmental, you're not trying to make their stories fit my view of the world. I want to see it through their eyes and how they've had a relationship with this animal or this brother for 10,000 years, if not longer. And what can those stories tell us about that relationship and what it is and what he is and what can he do?
Well, I think that brings me to a core question I had when I was reading about your book, Giants, Cannibals, and Monsters, is that there are some native traditions that think of Sasquatch as a cannibal, and I thought that was interesting because that would have to, by definition, would put Bigfoot in the same category as us, because otherwise it wouldn't be a cannibal, it would just be another predator. It would be some species, as a predator. But in order for it to be a cannibal, it would require us to be in the same club. So, which group was that, by the way, that thought of Sasquatch as a cannibal?
Almost all of them.
Really?
The battle won, a grisly scene unfolds. An enemy youngster has been caught and killed. The carcass is shared between members of the group and eaten. Killing a competitor makes sense if you want to protect your food supply. But exactly why they cannibalize the dead chimp is not fully understood.
Remember, the Neanderthals were cannibals. The Neanderthals were coincidentally hair-covered hominoids, nocturnal cannibals with big feet. Here is a Neanderthal and human. This was the offspring, Cro-Magnon man. Let's look at some Cro-Magnon skeletons. Notice the eyes near the top of the head, heavy brows and cheekbones. To the left is a Neanderthal, to the right is a Cro-Magnon. This is a so-called modern human versus the hominoid. People who do not have strong hominid genes will have different features such as long forehead, pointy chin and weak brow and cheekbones. This is a depiction of how Cro-Magnon man lived. Let's compare Cro-Magnon to Native Americans. For the comparison, first let's look at the soup. Chief Sitting Bull compared to a Cro-Magnon facial reconstruction. Notice the eyes, nose and mouth are in the same position. Notice the eyes near the top of the head, heavy brow and cheekbones. This is Chief Bigfoot. I wondered how he got that name. Maybe he had big feet. This is Bigfoot's brother, touches the clouds. He got his name from his enormous height. He was known for his giant frame and great strength. The Iroquois were known as the giant of the forest. The men could chase deer all day without fatigue. One man near 7 feet in stature runs down a buffalo on foot as he slays it with his knife or lance. The natives had superb bone structure and were clean and muscular, commented early European settlers. Look at the two Iroquois men in the back. They are estimated around 7 feet tall. For that to be accurate, the man second from the right would have to be 4.5 feet tall. to 5 feet tall. The Neanderthal is ancestor to all European people through interbreeding with migrating Africans. So why is it absurd for migrating Asians to encounter Neanderthal-type beings when they first traveled to the land? Notice the eyes near the top of the head, heavy brows and cheekbones.
猴娃的小名叫犬子，大名曾繁盛，已经30岁了。猴娃不会说话，只能喊出几种简单的声音。更让人惊奇的是，30岁的猴娃从小到大，不论寒暑，从来都是这样赤身裸体，但是他却从来也没有生过病。录像中怀抱孩子的就是猴娃的母亲。对于突然来到的王方辰等人，他3缄其口，一语不发，而猴娃的父亲也始终不肯面对镜头。对于这一点，和王方辰同去的孙志勇记忆犹新。
我们进去之后就是喊可以进来吗？可以就是在门口吗？就是我们想跟你聊聊，可以不可以啊？然后半天都不出来人，然后他父亲呢出来，在隔着门跟我们说了几句话，然后我们呢就把我们准备的礼物送给他之后，才让我们进去坐在院子里边。他母亲呢对这个我们的到来呢很不高兴，就是很不喜欢我们看。
对猴娃身世的回避，更增加了大家的好奇心。难道他们真的有什么难言之隐？在与猴娃父母的交谈中，猴娃开始接近大家。在这个时候，王方辰才有机会仔细地观察他。
赤身露体，脑袋很小，个子也显得高，胳膊长，然后他总的架势老是半蹲着，那么一个架势。